welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hey, how you doing? My name is Ash. I am a makeup artist and a book lover. Today's video is all about this like vampire gothic look that I absolutely love. So let's just get into it. Obsessed is an understatement. I love looking like this. It's so intense, but like I wish I could actually pull off like a gothic vampire aesthetic like every day, but it's a lot. So I'm not going to drag this out too much longer. I do have a part 2 towards the end where I show you, a little fixin' for this look to make it a little more vampire. But I absolutely love this, so without further ado, let's just get into it. Alright, so I am actually starting off this look by doing my brows first because I am going to lay part of my brows completely flat and cover them with foundation and whatnot. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I am still new to covering my brows, so this isn't perfect, but I am using the Elmer's glue stick, the purple one that dries clear. I'm using a pressed powder, and I do go in with a foundation stick. So I first do a small layer, let it dry, powder it, and then I go in with a thicker layer, make sure that everything lays pretty flat, and then I go in with even more powder and make sure that is completely covered, and then I go in with the foundation stick. I do recommend going in with something that has more coverage in it. The one that I'm using is the Merit one, but for the purpose of this look, it works. I'm going to be going into the eyes next, and I am priming with my Anastasia eye primer. I am going to be blending that out with a brush, and I'm taking that all the way up to the start of my natural brow and blending that into the foundation stick that I have covering my brow. For eyeshadow, I'm going in with the Blend Bunny Cosmetics Blends palette, and I am just using the gray shade in here. This look is going to be focused mostly with this gray shade. I'm going for more edgy lines than anything else. I'm not making this very rounded at all. I'm doing the outer corner pretty straight and then the inner corner pretty straight, kind of angular up and out. You can kind of see the shape that I am doing as I am blending this gray shade all over, but I just continue to add the gray as needed, and then I pop into the white in the palette and I'm putting that directly in the center. Since I left that open, I wanted the bright white in the center just to highlight the whatever I have going on. I don't know words. This is my like 20th time trying to do this voiceover, so if it's not the best, my apologies. I am struggling, heavily struggling. But I just go back in with the white and the gray. I go back and forth between those just to get the best blend that I can. I add a little bit more gray in, and I just continue to blend and blend and blend. And I really like the shape that I have going on, so I'm going to move over to my face, but first I'm going to clean up the eyes with just my fingers. And then for primer, I'm going in with this Lottie London primer. It's the Crimson Craze primer from their Harley Quinn line, and I am just applying that carefully all over my face. And then for foundation, I'm making a concoction of the KVD Beauty Good Apple Serum foundation and the LA Girl Pro Color Foundation Mixing Pigment in white. I do about a half a pump of the KVD Beauty one and then about 3 times as much of the white pigment because I wanted the coverage of the KVD Beauty foundation with the lightness of the white mix-in, because I wanted a super pale base because that is the type of gothic look that I was taking inspiration from. And I just mix it up on the back of my hand with the back of a brush, and I go in with a sponge to apply that all over my face. So I take my time blending this in, and I do have struggle going around my nose. These nails are amazing, but it makes it hard to get into all the crevices. I do mess up by going over my brow area, and I got that onto the eyeshadow portion, but I will go in later to fix that up. But I am so happy with how this look is turning out. And then I go back in with the Milani setting powder, and I just set my entire face, just very lightly. I feel like this concoction of the foundation set down pretty good, so I didn't need too much powder. And then I'm going back in with the gray shadow from the Blends palette, and I am just fixing what I messed up and just adding more of the gray in. I'm not gonna lie, I was watching The Cat in the Hat when I was filming this, so I was quoting like the entire movie. I love that movie. So I just continue to blend more of the gray in, and then I go back in with the white shade in the palette and just touch up the white in the center and just make sure that is all nice and blended and a nice little gradient thing going on. Popping back into the palette, I'm taking the black shade and I am starting on my brows, and I just have an angled brush that I'm using to fill in my brows and going in with that very like almost angry brow shape. It's such a vibe. I really like the shape of this brow, but it's not something that I feel like I could pull off like at all. but I love it for this look. I do skip around a lot, so I'm going back to the eyes and I'm taking more of that gray shadow and I'm continuing that line on my lower lash line. So I'm not following my lash line completely. I'm making it more just like straight. And there's me quoting more of the Cat in the Hat. But you can kind of see the shape taking place where I'm just following the line so it's like a straight line and it's just more angular and fierce and just intense. And I do take that gray towards the inner corner and leaving the middle open just like I did on the top. But I am absolutely loving how this looks so far. And then I just go in with that white shadow again just to highlight my inner corner, and I'm just making sure that that is just in a nice like gradiated shape. Gradiated shape? Is that even a word? I don't know. I'm putting the white on my inner corner. That's all you need to know. Going back into the palette, I'm taking the black shade again and I'm just adding this right over where I did the gray, but I'm keeping this very, very tight. I'm not wanting this to go super, super dark. I just want a little hint of deepness right at the start of my lash line. I'm really not dragging that black out too far at all. I'm keeping it pretty close and tight, and I do that on the outer corner and I also take that on the inner corner just very, very slightly. I don't want it like too intense, but like what am I trying to say? This whole look is intense, but I'm just going softer. I take more of that white and I highlight my brow bone, my new brow bone, right under the brow. And then I go back in with that gray shade and then of course quote the movie as I'm watching it because I can't not. And I'm just taking that gray shade just to further blend out and just touch up any spots that needed a little extra oomph. So now I decided to contour, and I'm actually taking a cardboard piece. This is actually a card that I got from Nomad in one of my recent orders, and I am using that to give a very, very sharp edge. I know that one of the drag queens does this. I think it's Trixie Mattel. I think she does this type of contour and it's very, very intense. And I start with a big brush and then I go in with a smaller brush just to really define it. And I'm only using the gray shade in the blends palette because I wanted it all to be tight and be very, very, very gray tone. But I actually really like how this looks. It was very intense and it just went with the eye shape so well. And then I go in with a sponge just to kind of diffuse the edge a little bit just because it went a little too harsh. And then I'm taking a little bit extra shadow and I'm just really curving out the cheekbone area, sort of like how I did in my Tim Burton makeup. I'm just following like that same shape and just very, very, very lightly with a very, very light hand going in and doing that. And then I contemplate blush and I was like, you know what? I should do a little bit of blush. So I take the Fairy Blush palette and I'm going in with just the pink shade. I'm just popping that on the very back side of my cheekbone. And then I decide it's time to do the nose contour. So going back in with that gray shade and I am just very, very carefully just carving out my nose. Is it the best nose contour that I've done? No. Does it work? Yes, I love it. And I do just go in with the sponge just to help kind of blend that in a little bit. And then I decide to go in with a little bit of highlighter. This is Enlighten from Rare Beauty. I'm just doing that all on the high points of my face, on my cheekbone, my nose, on my forehead, and on my cupid's bow because why not? And then I'm going to set my face with my Morphe setting spray just to kind of meld all those powders in. And then I'm going in with a couple liners. The first one is the e.l.f. Cosmetics No Budge liner and I'm putting that in my tight line and waterline, but I am skipping the middle part on my lower lash line. And then I go in with the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk and I put that just in the center of my waterline. And then I take my liquid liner. This one is from the NYX and Beetlejuice line and I am doing a wing. I'm not gonna lie, I like this look a lot more without the wing, but I'm just doing a pretty big wing and filling this in. I do the inner corner point for the wing. I don't know what this is called, but I make the little triangle point on my inner corner. Very hard to do, very hard to see on camera, but it's done. It's done. And then I decide to take the liner and do a little bit of a graphic line right where I did the other shadow part on my lid and just follow right at the crease of my eyelid. And then once I got all that done, I thought it looked a little funny, so I'll go back in with that gray shade just to add a little something to my eyes because I thought it looked weird once I put the eyeliner on, and the extra shadow just made everything look a little bit better. And then I'm going back to brows. I am taking the NYX eyeliner again and I'm just doing brow strokes all throughout my brow with that. Nothing too complicated, just following exactly what I did with the shadow, just making it a little bit more intense with the liner. So for lips, I'm going in with two different shades. I'm going in first with the Black Moon Cosmetics Sleepwalker shade. This is the best black lipstick you could ever try. Hands down, so good. And I'm just taking that on a lip brush and really defining the lip line. And I do feather in the corners a little bit, but I wanted a very stark, like, black outline and then a color on the center, which the color on the center is going to be Haunting from Blend Bunny Cosmetics. I believe it's Haunting. If it's the wrong name, it might be Haunted. It'll be in the description below, but it is just a really deep pretty red, and I just fill in wherever I didn't put the black, and then I go back in with the brush that had the black lipstick, and then I just kind of fix the edge and just make it a little bit more blended. And then for lashes, I decided to go in with this pair from Creature Cosmetics. I believe it's called Good Morning. They are very big, but they are so perfect for this look. So I just quickly put those on, and then my mascara is the Rare Beauty one, so I did use that on my top, and then I go in with a quick coat on my bottom lashes. Now all to do is do my wig, and I'll be right back. Alright, and here is the finished makeup look. I do apologize that I had to do a voiceover for the first part, but there's a lot of kids outside and they were just constantly yelling. So it had to be done. But I absolutely love this look. Let me know what you think of it. And now I'm gonna go probably try to ruin it just a smidge by doing some sort of like blood splattery thing. I do have fake blood, but it's not the best, so I'm not gonna be using fake blood. I'm gonna be using water activated paint. But I am obsessed with this makeup look. Obsessed. But let's just get into the splatter. Okay, not gonna lie, the blood splatter is the easiest part of this look. So I'm going in with this Makeup of Murder split liner pan thing, whatever. It's part of their Lovesick collection, and I am going in with just the reds in here, and I am taking an old toothbrush and water, and I am just flicking that all over my face. It's honestly not hard at all. The only issue is you get like the red stain on your finger from doing this, but honestly it looks so perfect. And then to mimic the little vampire bites, I go in with the same red liner on the back of a brush, and then I go in with a smaller brush just to do drag marks and add some dots around my face. I do go in with the blends palette, and I go in with the dark red and the black in the palette just to kind of deepen where the holes are, because I wanted it to really like have an impact of this is a hole in my neck. And I go in with even more blood splatter, and I am absolutely loving how this looks. This is such a quick thing to do for pretty much any Halloween look. Just a little blood splatter and it makes it look like 10 times better. But that is all you need to do to make this look a little more bloody. Alright, and this is officially the finished look with all the extra details, and I am obsessed with it. I feel so cute. I feel so fierce with this makeup on. I want to do it like all the time. But this is my take on a more gothic vampire look, so let me know what you think of it, and I'm going to zoom you out to wrap up this video. Alright, so I had a lot of fun doing this look. I hope you really enjoy it. If you do, make sure you give this video a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. We are officially more than halfway through October, and I'm just so excited for all the looks I've done and all the looks that I'm going to be doing this month. I'm very excited. I'm just obsessed with like each and every one that I do. This one may be my new favorite. But I don't think I have anything else to add. All of my makeup details will be listed down below. And if you want, you can follow me on my other socials. I'm artistryxashh everywhere. If you want some book content, I am Ashley with 2 H's that reads on TikTok and Instagram. But I think that covers everything now. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day or night whenever you're watching this. Stay spooky, and I'll see you all tomorrow for a brand new video. Bye. Also, side note, tomorrow is a clown video.